Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Astrology Today with Jeff Harman. It is Thanksgiving weekend, and Jeff and I are at a cafe talking about many interesting things. And we just wanted to shoot our weekly show, just a short one this week, from here. We thought it would be really cool to kind of invite you into our conversation outside. So, yeah, Jeff's going to go into a few things, and take it away, Jeff.
Yeah, it's like the holiday season, so we figured we'd just go have a spalt of tea and see what it was like.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's nice to be happy during the holidays, right? But what kind of bothers me is the state of the world and the country. But, maybe it'll work out a lot better than we think when it's ultimately done.
Yeah.
The astrology shows as we come in near the end of this month, it's pretty intense, but we'll see where it goes. That's all we can do.
Yeah, well, we did already have, so we've been talking a lot about Mars hitting the United States moon.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's a big one.
The primary directed Mars is going to go over the United States moon. It's going to be right at the end of this month, about the 28th, 29th. I think what's so important also is that you got the nodes, the moon's eclipse points, moving out of air and, fire and water. They're switching.
Right.
Mainly the north node is going to go from the fire trine into the water trine. It could really become a problem. And the biggest thing is the United States has the Pluto return on it. So we can see Biden's taken a wrecking ball to this country, and he's basically destroyed the oil industry and the energy industry. And there's nothing we can do about that. We're sitting here at the effect of what the owners at the top want.
Yeah.
And it's destroying the middle class. Every single person I meet who is knowledgeable about finances, about energy, etc. It's a destruction of the middle class.
Yeah, so sad.
So it is. Well, and we got to wait and see how this all shakes out. But I can tell you, it's intense.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, let's have fun and have some tea.
We can. Well, I thought an interesting, very short topic for this weekend could be about, I've been thinking about chasing dreams. And how important it is to, a lot of times I've seen it in my own life, people in my own life chase a dream, whatever it is they're interested in achieving for so many years of their lives. And what's truly important is connecting with that inner, some people call it an inner voice, some people call it God, whatever it is, but that's the most important thing to me.
And that's why I don't think this is ever going to be successful, trying to turn the United States into a communistic, socialistic country. It's not going to work. So you're never going to kill the spirit of people.
Right.
That dream, that inner essence of people is what's so key. You're never going to take that away.
Yeah.
Because this country was founded upon that. And, there's no way you're ever going to take free people and convert them into socialism. It's not going to happen. They'll try, and they are trying, but the forces will come back. It'll backlash on them every time. And I think that's about what we're going to see happen with the Pluto return. That's why we could be the phoenix rising out of the ashes. We really could. Yeah.
Well, you were talking earlier about how many people aren't going to stand for the United States being torn down. They just aren't. I mean, they'll fight for this country.
Oh, you bet they will.
Literally,
everyone will.
They really will.
Yep. And see, the problem is this is all being done through the money. We think it's Washington, you think it's DC, but it's really the money. If you follow the money, they're ratcheting down every area of this and using the climate change ruse, they're using all the other stuff to push this.
Yeah. It's really sad when you think about it, just going back to the dreams that we all have, right? And, it's people have dreams for their children. And it's interesting because this country supports all of that, right?
That's the stuff that AI will never have, is dreams, desires, and will, and the soul force, desires. It's claimed that we reincarnate with these desires. That's why we keep coming back to the physical plane. That's why you'll never kill this. You can't kill it. There's no way. So, that's such a great topic you bring up about a whole soul elements of the dream, the human spirit. So important. And, in these really trying times, we have very demonic forces trying to come in and counteract that.
Yeah.
There's no question. It's hitting us from every angle. We've got one major media complaining for us, and then we got the rest of them mind controlling us. And yet none of it's going to work.
Right.
Ever. It will not work. You cannot stifle the human spirit. Like I said in the last podcast, everything is created from creation. So you can't take destruction and have it usurp creation.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have creation.
You wouldn't have creation. Exactly. Right. And it's important to remember that, especially with the new year coming up, right? Because a lot of people get very, very depressed. I know that for myself, when I was a teenager, I used to get really depressed around New Year's, and I never understood why.
Yeah.
I never understood that until I got much older, and I realized that, wow, I didn't, I kind of felt like the balance was off there, you know? And it's important to stay in touch with your dream.
Well, this time of
really
year, too, is really important because you also head towards the winter solstice, and the energies get lower.
Yeah.
See, it's the Venus period right before the end of the year, Saturn, which is the 52 days that happen from Thanksgiving into January.
Yeah. Well, Krishnamurti spoke about how important it is to follow your dream.
Yeah, that's right.
And how you need to
express all life is
yourself
a dream.
On this planet. It's very important to express yourself creatively. That's a big part of what we're doing here.
Huge. And it is so important, I think, to have that inner desire. Without goals and dreams, you kill the human spirit. Talk to everyone who comes from communistic and socialistic countries, and they all say the same thing. The spirit was killed. It was stifled. It's demonic. Is really what it is.
Well, what's cool about the astrology, and we've talked about this before, but what's so cool about it is for people who don't know where their direction in life is, the astrology can help point that out.
It does.
It can really, really help people.
It does, and it also tells, even when they do know where their direction is, when they're likely to see the gates open up and the pressures come off, and they get a straight road at which they can hit the gas and make it happen. Which is really, really important. And the other cool thing is that we can actually see through location astrology too, where you might be able to improve your own, direction.
Right. No, I know that happened for me actually, because when I was living elsewhere, things were very, very intense, and I viewed life in a certain way. And then when I moved out to California, slowly, that started to shift. And it wasn't something I was thinking about. It just happened. It just happened.
Yeah. And it's interesting you bring up California, because so many people keep coming to California for the dream to be successful or creative, whether it be in music or film or any kind of talent, because this is certainly a place, this in New York and of course London and certain centers of the world always cultivated that. And I don't think you'll ever kill that.
No.
You really can't.
No. Well, there's definitely a magical energy on California and New York. I can say I've never been to London, which I hope to get to someday.
You got a son that haven't line there,
I know I do. That's why I want to get there. But there's magic, and we should all be able to express ourselves and live our dreams.
Couldn't agree more. So we're going to keep this one short.
And hope you're having again a wonderful holiday weekend, and we'll see you next Friday on Astrology Today with Jeff Harman.